Okay, let's see what's going on. Okay, I see a few people are live. I have joined the live already. Can you please, guys, confirm if the voice is fine? Sounds good. Okay. Okay, let me just share this on a few places. Give me a second. Everything's perfect. Okay, just give me a second, guys. So sorry about it. I'm an old guy. Okay, we're getting more people. Just gonna get started in a second. Let me double check something. Okay, let's fix the quality of the stream because I see it's a little lower. Alright, guys. Now, can anyone confirm if the sound is good and if the picture is good? Just confirm these things and we're gonna get started. Because I changed a few things, so I just want to make sure everything is fine. I want to make sure I didn't fuck nothing up. Full HD sounds good. Alright. Okay. Hope everybody's having a good weekend so far. We're in the end of it. We're about to begin a new month, new week. Very, very soon. Okay. Now, the first thing that we're gonna be viewing at right now. It's not gonna be Bitcoin, it's gonna be the DXY. Okay. Now, about DXY, on the higher time frame, we're still in that area of the previous highs. So for those of you that have not been here, what I've been viewing, let's say that's a range, okay? I'm talking about this part over here, so that's a range, and the overall highs of the range are over here. So it's like inside of them. So option number one, it could be back testing them, and we can see some kind of a move up, considering that this has been such a long range. Like this has been range for almost 10 years, 9 years, 8 years, something like that. So essentially having a break to the upside and potential backtest, if we look at it like that. But however, that's just information about a context. The other option that we have about high time frame views of the DXY is that this has just been a deviation and we're trying to move back in. Let me just check something over here quickly. Yeah. Okay. So that's an option, but overall what I'm looking at, considering the 4-hour time frame, if we take a look at this high and this low, so I'm viewing this just as a sideways range, okay? Like at the moment we're at the bottom of this range, which I have marked out. Essentially what happened, we had a swing failure pattern of that high, we had a swing failure pattern of that low, so it makes sense for me to have some kind of a move up to clear at least like these highs over here. And considering the news that come out later this week, we can be setting up for such move. Now, the other thing that could be happening is that we just move to the downside and essentially break this to the downside, and the area which I'm looking for the DXY as support is gonna be this range over here, moving back below these lows. So if I zoom out a little bit, it's looking like that on the daily time frame. Anybody got any questions for the DXY? I'm just setting up my bias for it. On the DXY, I see a lot of people zooming in on a 30-minute, 1 hour, 15 minutes. I don't see how this is helpful. I believe for the DXY, I need to be viewing it on a higher time frame. Because if you think about it, on the 15 minutes, you're pretty much not gonna be accurate, considering that's the DXY. Like, it's influenced by a lot of things. It's influenced by most of the Forex pairs, let's say gold, ES, stuff like that. So I just look at the DXY on the 4-hour time frame plus. Of course, I can zoom in on the 1 hour and have some things, but overall, I try to view it on a higher time frame for more accurate perspective. Slowly dropping in the long term. Yeah, absolutely, it's possible. Like, considering the weaknesses we have seen, especially in the weekly time frame, like if you view it like that, let's say from over here, high, low, high, creating a weekly, pulling back down, back testing that weekly, pulling back down, creating a weekly, back test the weekly, pulling back down, creating a weekly, pulling back down, back testing the weekly, pulling down. So over here, kind of similar scenario, like you have this weekly over here, you try to break above it, no strength, push back down. All these candles are literally, if using, let's say, green and red candles, all this is red. So, so yeah guys, about the DXY, I just prefer to look at this just as a range. Like, if it breaks to the downside, that's my next area. However, we're at the bottom of it, so be aware of that. And I'm not gonna spend any more time with the DXY. I'm gonna move into BTC. Now, a little bit information about the moves over here. So, some of you guys have been in the group, and I've been talking about, since we were inside that area, I've been talking about I want to see 28k, essentially we went well past 28k, and I've been talking about this week right here that it fronts run that daily. Usually if this happens, there's huge probability that we actually come back at that level, and essentially we had a daily right here. Okay, first time it bounced, then we ranged from Friday until Tuesday. Okay, so essentially keep in mind, let me just delete these things, that this range, everybody who has been longing from Friday until Tuesday has been stopped out on Monday. Actually from Friday to Monday, so essentially all the weekend people have been stopped out on Monday. And over here in that area, from 26,950 to 27,200, we created a nice bullish divergence on the delta. And as you guys know, we had longs from 27,300. We pushed up. Essentially the place where we stopped was not technical level. You know, this stop wasn't technical level. I would say it was more like 30k psychological level. So my thoughts about 30k are that actually what happened, if we zoom in the 15 minutes, because it was just not level on my chart. I didn't have, this was a no man's land for me. So what was actually happening in the order flow right here, we saw huge amount of longs coming in, and especially in that area. So pay attention from that time, from 1:30 until 8 o'clock pretty much. So this is 90%, 80% of the Chicago New York session. So all these people were longing over here, and when you actually started hitting the first stop loss of the people, you just created a liquidating cascade. And we actually got involved in that move from 29,330 was my entry as a short setup. And the place we bounced was a daily level. Let me just show it quickly. Okay, so you see this daily level right here, 27,478, just bounced right from it. And we had a naked session point control right below that daily, so this was a very technical bounce. But if we take a look at it on the daily time frame as a perspective, we can notice that we're actually just being inside that candle. Okay, so if you take a look at things like that, you're just trying to take a decision, because that's a huge indecision candle, and you're basically just ranging after the indecision, trying to make a decision, to put it that way. Hope that makes sense. But I'm gonna delete this for now. Let me just open exocharts. And by the way, exocharts, last week they put out the second version, 2.0 beta. So there is a slight difference in the interface, and I think in the data that they're gathering. Yeah, Exo are having some updates, yeah. I'm still having mixed feelings about the updates and the way they look. Okay, let's just see if everything is loaded. Okay. Now first I'm gonna go through trading view, and then I'm gonna move into exocharts. So let's just see on the weekly time frame how does everything look. Just turn on the key levels. Okay, so you see this weekly over here went above, pulling back down, and this candle, this weekly candle, is kind of backtesting the same region, so beware of that. Still, I'm gonna delete this level for now, and actually I'm gonna replicate the weekly level right here on the daily. Yeah, we can argue that this is a valid daily level. Because we're gonna open a new month, we gotta take a look at the monthly time frame. So on the monthly time frame, I'm gonna keep this monthly open. Let me just see something. Nah, I'm gonna mixed feelings about that monthly. I'm gonna keep it on my chart as a reference, but because I don't wanna mix it right now, I'm gonna hide it. Now for the key levels, these are your only key levels that you have. Pretty plain and simple. Have you tried Atos? Yeah, I've tried Atos. Recently I used Atos because I bought some ES order flow information from Ninja Trader, and that's why I used it. But Atos, it's not my thing, man. Not my thing. I just don't. It's not that clean. Like, even if I started using it, the problem that I have is that if I use exocharts, I use Atos and TradingView. This is literally 3 softwares that are just overwhelming me. So basically I took the decision to remove Atos and just trade on Exo and TradingView to make my analysis. But Atos, I have used it only for ES. But I stopped my data for ES. So at the moment I don't have active data feed for ES. Yeah, the interface like Windows 95, that's true. That's true as well. But let's say if you want to save money, then you just want to use it for Bitcoin, because I think that's what you want to do. It's a good option, man. Like, go with it. A lot of people are doing it. I have used to exocharts, man. That's what I'm used to. Okay, so about key levels, that's it, guys. Okay. Now, let's move into exocharts and see what we can find. So essentially from a volume profile, what I can say, I've been talking about volume shifts a little bit, but now I'm gonna explain a few things. So usually after a nice push up or push down, what happens is you have balanced days. So basically the rotations of the next day are inside the value of the previous day. And you can see over here in this section you have the values. I think it's visible. You have value area highs, value area lows, point of control. So pretty much these are balanced days. You try to break to the upside, but essentially just like a fair auction, a daily, you can even call it a daily swing failure pattern, because what you can see from the volume profile, you actually have most of the volume of this candle at the upside. So this gives you a very high probability that actually most of the people that have long, let's say, are in the top of the candle. Doesn't matter long or short, most of the volume is at the top. So essentially if you try to shift to the downside, you're gonna start having some kind of a liquidation cascade, to put it that way. So in terms of volume shift, pay attention. Bounced, 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 failed auction, bounced, bounced, shift down. Okay, when you have this kind of a shift down, this is giving you first a structural break. So you break below these lows, you can see a very nice strong daily candle close below these lows, with kind of a B-shaped profile, which is kind of giving you, we can put it as a distributional day, but overall this is your shift, okay, because first the daily candle, second the volume. You can see the volume is shifting to the downside. You can see bounce, 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 and then it just shifts, the volume is shifting to the downside. Then on this candle, you're just coming back up to back test, okay, to back test that area. And then having another shift to the downside, shift to the downside, shift to the downside, bounce, 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 volume shift, okay. But overall, I'm just explaining it to you so you get the understanding of what I'm talking about. Overall, this candle, it's very volatile, but you get the idea. If you have some kind of a balance days and then have this volume shift, like over here, it has happened multiple times before. Let me just move, let's say, back down here. Let's say over here in the 10th of March when we were back at 20k, this huge move to the upside. You can see, guys, bounce, 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 shift, bounce, bounce, up, shift, moving up. Over here at the top, bounce, kind of bounce, but not really. But here is your bounce, there your bounce, 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 shift, bounce, shift. So you can see when you have some kind of a shift, this is where actually people want to trade. This is where price wants to go. The shift is something important which you can implement into your trading decisions. But overall, what we can argue for the past couple of days, we're just like having balance days. Okay. There is a probability that this could be a shifting candle to the upside, but because it's Sunday, I would just look at it as balanced one, to be honest with you, just because it's Sunday. Now, if we talk about levels from point of control levels, daily point of controls, daily next point of controls, we do have 28,329. The one over here I have deleted. Okay, this one I have deleted. It's invalid in my opinion because there is actually a difference between TradingView and exocharts. And what I mean by that, let me move into the 30-minute time frame. Okay, so check that out. This point of control on the session volume tested here. So this is this already tapped in my opinion. So that's why I have deleted it. So yeah, if you have such situations, they're not very often, but be aware of them. Just check out on TradingView and see if there is a difference. So from daily point of control standpoint, we don't have nothing. Moving into the weekly TPO chart. $29,300. I wouldn't label this as a significant level. I'm not gonna mark it on my chart. Fully honest with you, I'm not gonna mark it on my chart. Probably I would mark only the volume point of control of that week. $29,300. You know, I'm just mark it out as a reference. It might come handy, but I don't think that's significant level. Still, I'm gonna mark it out. Okay, let me just check something else. So you see this high over here. I've been talking about this earlier in the group because there was talking for this high and this high is equal highs. Yes, they are, but overall I would like to see this high being taken because that's a poor high. These lows are nice, like we have nice bank tails, but this high it's a poor high. So if we have some kind of swing for the pattern, I want to see us taking the poor high. This high over here, it's a poor high as well. The overall high of the current price action in the past couple of weeks. So there's nothing else here to talk about. Let's see the naked sessions. No difference at all, they're still the same. We just have one right here, that's it. Let me just take a look at something quickly. So yeah, basically in my opinion, this push over here has unfinished business in my opinion. The reason is, in my opinion, you see these highlighted zones there in bounces. So if you think about it, actually price comes up to clear out some imbalance. Okay, so you see the stack, you see the fat stack, okay? But you leave this one at 3150, 3180, which at the key levels, what can I do about this one over here? So you see you have equal highs over here as well. Kinda here as well. So yeah, I believe that price has some finished business to the upside. To the downside, yeah, I believe from this template, I like to look at imbalances. So to gain some perspective of where is the most amount of liquidity, you can see they give nice reactions. So let's say over here you have all these stacked imbalances, coming into them, clear them out, and you come back to take out the ones from the drop, okay? So simply explained, you have a lot of buyers in that area, you see the green, coming back, these people probably getting out on break even, and you have all these sellers which are actually adding to the selling pressure on the upside. Now probably because these are a lot of sells, yeah, I would like to say that we have unfinished business to the upside, so yeah, nothing else to say over here. Nothing else to say over here. Coming back into trading view. Now the next step about the current analysis, because you always kind of you have to be flexible in the things you do. Now the next step which I'm gonna do is identify the liquidity and what actually is happening. So I have these levels marked out as liquidity, but let's see if we have new ones. So I'm still gonna keep the high. At the lows, I'm gonna mark out this one over here. Okay, this is where the most amount of stops are. About this one over here, I really don't think if we come back here, if we come below that low, I believe most likely we're gonna head down and take out this one. So this is why I'm not gonna mark out these two lows, because as you saw on the daily TPO, they're good lows. So if you actually come and take out good lows, you're gonna proceed lower prices, and the auction is gonna continue to the downside if we come back below these lows. Now a lot of people are looking at this. Okay, just first look, high, some kind of triangle. You know, a lot of people are looking at this. So yeah, if we come back above, we try to break to the upside, and then we just wrecked everybody that is kind of longing this pattern, this just for scan side. Now that's about the liquidity levels. There's no other liquidity levels in my opinion that are being close to the current price action. Now if we take a look at the fixed range, So the point of control of this range over here, just take a look at it closely. It's rejecting the value area low, but probably once it gets accepted, it's gonna rotate to the value area high. That's probability. But overall, what I'm looking at is gonna be this pool right here. Now if we take a look at this one, well, there's a difference there. Yeah, so judging by the current information that we have, what I would say about BTC is that your most significant support is this area, okay? This is your most significant support at the moment, and your biggest resistance is in this area. So now when we have this information, we can look at another things as well. We can add things. Now what I would add, so let's say if we pull a golden pocket from that low, if we actually come and push into this higher liquidity, if we take a look at this, you see the golden pocket is coming right at the value low, the naked session point of control, and around the monthly open, which is kind of in that area as well. And at this next session point of control, we do have this naked point of control, 28,350. So this is gonna be super important support to hold. And what we can argue is that actually if you lose this area, if you lose this area, you're gonna show weakness, okay? And you're gonna come back into that weekly, and what's most likely gonna happen, you're gonna come back and test it and push back down. So be aware of that. So currently I would prefer to see price rising, finishing that business, cleaning out these highs, okay? And to be more precise, if price does something like this, okay, that's your short entry, okay? That's your short entry, really, like cleaning the liquidity, coming back below the levels. Yes, you can short inside the levels, but there is a higher probability you actually rotate to the value area high, because there's gonna be people that are gonna be shorting these levels with the stops above this high. So you wanna stop them out first. Now the short position which I prefer to take is gonna be this one. And it's gonna be most likely after taking out the highs. Talking about these highs here. Take them out, come back below the level, and then I'm in. And about the long position, I believe you should wait for the reaction, and once you see probably a lot of shorts, a lot of sells in that area, then you can enter. About stop loss, it has to be defined, but you can target the new high in my opinion. Here a question here, the banks are looking to get that liquidity right and hunt it. You never know what the banks are gonna do, mate. You never know. You really don't know. When you think about it, they can go and take out all the liquidity and then they can make the move. Like, the banks, is there private entities, is there like people with lots of money? It's undefined. But yes, Bitcoin is a magnet for liquidity and it's designed to wreck most of the people. And that's what I can say. Okay, now once we're ready with the technical levels, we can fuck around. And what I mean by what, we can look at different things. Okay. We still have that. This is gonna be here until the end of the year. But super locally, these monthly periods are gonna change. How many years of experience do you currently have? 3. I've been trading since 2020. I started back in 2020 around summer, and I started with stocks actually. Because my parents, they're involved into the bond treasury business, so kinda market makers. Providing liquidity basically into the Forex markets, nothing to do with crypto. But yeah, bond and treasury and market making, providing liquidity not only to Forex markets but to other banks as well. That's why I'm telling you bonds and treasury, because essentially what's happening, they're delivering liquidity to other banks. And right now with the current economic situation with the high interest rates, what actually is happening, there's a lot of problems with liquidity. So there is kind of a shortage of cash. So if you're delivering cash to banks, it's actually a profitable business. Providing cash to different banks in settled amount of time for settled amount of interest. So let's say you can borrow few millions for, let's say, 2 months with an interest rate of 10%, to put it that way. Now back to this monthly Chinese build. All these monthly from TradeStation and Bybit, they're gonna change, but the Chinese one is over here. Now what we can do we have any other confluence there if we get there later on during the month? Let me just hide everything. Okay, so we have quite nice support over here. So 25,600. So here's the deal, guys. Okay, now here's the deal to the downside. If we actually have this sign of weakness when we lose this important level, what I said is coming back below these lows. If you actually come back below these lows, I believe you're not gonna be hunting that low. You're gonna be coming back down into 26k region. So sub 20k, sub 26k, sub 26k. Between 24,700 and 26. You're gonna be either gonna be looking at 25.6 or 24.7. You saw the reaction over here. A very nice deviation catch. I'll delete it for now. We do have the weekly Chinese at 28,300, which is essentially where we're looking for the long. We're gonna see how this goes. Let me just take a look at something else as well. Weekly time frame. Let's fuck around a little bit with Bybit, not Bybit, BTC. VWAPs is trying to reclaim the VWAPs, all the VWAPs. Trying to break above that. Yeah, that's important to know. This speed fan is important and you need to be aware of it. Let me just take a look at something. Okay. They're gonna remain the same things, no changes. So now let's make the chart pretty clean. How we can do that? Let's turn up everything. Okay, I'm gonna leave my chart like that. Yeah, the monthly open I'm gonna keep it because actually I'm gonna hide it. It's taking too much space. So guys, that's about BTC. That's the plan for BTC. The next long opportunity, in my opinion, if you lose this, most likely it's gonna be back down here. But still we need to see the reaction because as I said, if you actually come into here, maybe we're not gonna come that low. We have to see. This is gonna be a hard long in my opinion. We need to see how it goes. Personally, I'm bullish until we lose 26k. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm not being bearish at that point. That's what I'm telling you. This is a very important support level, and if you actually lose this, probably gonna come into that area, which is gonna be low of the range, and this is where you basically look for long setups. Still, you need to proceed with caution. That's what I can say. We need to proceed with caution, because essentially the first yellow flag for me was this deviation over here. Okay, that's like a yellow flag for me looking at sign of strengths or sign of weaknesses. If you have some kind of thing like that, it can turn out the other way. What I mean by that, you see over here you had a deviation to the downside, and coming back below these lows, super nice sign of strength with lots of trap shorts over here. Now coming into the same theory, you have a lot of longs in that area, judging by the volume profile, and coming back down, these people are gonna be looking to break even in my opinion, so this is gonna add to the sell pressure. However, until you're above certain levels, you haven't shown any red flags, you're basically most likely gonna continue higher. But when I see a yellow flag, I just proceed with caution, and I'm just trying to be more careful than not. And this liquidity, we have identified it, but I'm gonna delete it from my chart because it's taking attention from me. I'm not gonna be trading based on that liquidity. Maybe I'm gonna take my profit if I get into that short, but I'm not gonna be basing any ideas from that liquidity level. I'm not gonna be entering into new trades from it. Now, anybody got any questions about BTC? You can ask anything you want, guys. Thank you, my man. I'm good. Thanks for the analysis. Are you still confident in 3k ETH and 4k BTC? Yeah, I'm confident. Until we have those red flags, still up to that, man. Like, when you have such a high time frame targets, the thing you need to be aware of that is that price is gonna be volatile, it's gonna be moving up and down all the time. Unless you have a 20% drop, no reason to change your bias. That's just 10% drop from 31k to 27k, 10% drop, cleaning out longs. Simple as that. So the reason why I told you, so you see, when I explained about this short setup, this one that we have on the screen, when I explained about it, when I explain about it, what you need to be aware that, as I said, if I'm gonna get into this, I'm gonna wait until we clean those highs and then I'm gonna come in. You see that liquidity in 30k, 33.8, no, 30.6. So okay, so clean out 30.6, lose the daily and the weekly, I'm in. So what my mind is telling me, be careful on the short setups. And these are tricky things, and with experience. So let's say I'm inexperienced, I know the theories, I know what I'm looking for, but I'm inexperienced. The way I would trade this basically would be with my stop loss above these guys. But this is what everybody would do, right? So you need to wait for them to get stopped out. Because, as I said, BTC is a liquidity magnet, so it's gonna wreck the first people that it can. And these are gonna be the first people. But yeah, I'm still confident in analysis, man. Like, I'm gonna look into Ethereum right now. Let me just fix the mess over here. Pay attention to the pitchfork, guys. Like, is there any reason to be bearish on Ethereum, judging your information just by the pitchfork? So you see, low, high, low, OG pitchfork, that's how I call it, 0.5, resistance, 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 coming back into the golden pocket, pushing up to the midpoint, consolidate, back test, pushing to the upper golden pocket, resistance, pulling back to 0.5. So, like, super OG pitchfork, that's why I keep it on my chart. But yeah, there is no reason to be bearish on Ethereum right now. Yes, you do have some kind of weakness, and what I mean by that, you see the volume profile fixed range, see how the value area highs, they're lining up and they're getting like back tested. That's a yellow flag, okay? It's not a red flag, it's a yellow flag. So unless you actually show me weakness, I'm still gonna be confident in continuing with higher prices. Let me just check something out. Yeah, you can see. So the reason I'm doing this, what I'm doing right now in front of you guys, when you're looking at price, you need to be seeing, you need to be watching if the volume is following the price. And what I mean by that, you see the fixed range, see the value area highs over here, pulling it to the current price action, value area high moves, pulling it to the overall high over here. So you see how the value area high is actually moving up. Okay, you see how it's moving up. So essentially, for now, it's gonna be fine. Until we're above this level, until we're above 1782, it's fine. Once we lose 1782, it's gonna be a different story, and probably gonna come into that loss. But judging just by the volume profile, that's the information you get. Have you had any long-term investments for the past 6 months, for example, till now? And are you a fan of long-term investing? I'm not a fan of long-term investing. I'm a fan of getting in at a certain level and going out at a certain level. Yes, I would hold trades for multiple amount of days, weeks, you could call it like that. So recent example, GRT, okay? Got in at 13 cents, pushed up to 18, took profit, and now it's back at entry. But that's 40% rise. So, you know, 40%, 40%, I'm gonna take it. And it was on spot. Another one, long-term investing. Let me just think about it. Long-term investing. Long-term investing. Have I done any long-term investments? I wouldn't say so. Listen, anything that you do in investing, you're still buying and you're going out. So essentially, it's a trade. The definition of a trade is buying something to sell at a higher price. So you're still technically trading. Long-term investing for me is, let's say you're gonna buy. Long-term investing for me is you're gonna buy, let's say, certain stocks or indexes that they're gonna pay dividends. Let's say I'm not into that because at the current economic state, if you do this, you're basically losing money. But if you have enough money and you're diversified, let's say you have 20% which you wanna just put it in some kind of insurance thing. Yes, you can put them into an index fund that's gonna pay you dividends. Yes, you can do that, but I'm not into that level yet where I have such amount of money which I don't know what to do with. I'm gonna be there one day, but at the moment, I just don't do it, man. I just prefer to keep going like that. I keep a lot of my money cash under the mattress, bro. I sleep on it. Do you look into stocks that pay dividends? You answered the question before checking it. Yeah, you heard the answer, bro. It comes down to point A and point B, and you take profit and leave it if you have an idea for weeks, months ahead. Yeah, bro. Yeah. Like, listen, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't catch the Ethereum button. I didn't buy it at 1100. I didn't buy it. Could I buy it? Was it there? Yeah. Could I buy it? Yeah. Did I buy it? No. Am I gonna buy it at 1900? No. Do I have any idea where we're going in macroeconomic cycles? Yes. What's my idea? Range bound. Am I gonna have another opportunity to buy 1200, 1300? Most likely. So, you know, that's my thought process. About long-term investments, I want to see the economic cycle playing out, because at the moment you have a lot of things that are uncertain, such as you have big problems with chain supply, geopolitical things, interest rates, economic growth. These things are not out of the way. So if you want to do long-term investments, one way to do it right now is most likely real estate. But anything beside that, I think you're just being played right now. I don't think this is the time to buy anything. Like, listen, even if Ethereum comes up to 3K, the way you want to buy it, you have, even if you buy it on spot, you need to have some kind of invalidation. That's my opinion about, man. At the moment, the only things that I hold on spot is PayPal stock. That's it. Coming back into Ethereum, I want to check the weekly time frame. Okay, so you see this weekly right here, kind of similar story to BTC. Weekly above, back testing it. So that's kind of dodgy, man. But I'm gonna delete it for now. Actually, I'm not gonna delete it. So yeah, be careful, because that's backtesting that. Be careful of that. So you see, when I'm saying about yellow flags or doing something like that, that's a yellow flag, man. How do you catch golden altcoins that make some rise, make some cash, and leave before everyone even realizes? I'm not making about the same. Just like, well, you saw in the Discord, mates. You saw Pepper. You saw I posted it at 700 holders. Since then, it's up 4x. Just getting it out. That's all I can tell you. Coming back into Ethereum, just looking at that chart right now, I'm just having my thought process. If we have some kind of a pullback inside this imbalance area, I'm gonna be looking for shorts likely, with the idea of pulling us back down to that area. So yeah, from point A to point B. Yeah. Essentially, if we lose this area, 1650, 1600, most likely we're gonna be looking down to that area. So yeah, most important support. If we lose this, the idea of hitting 3K by the end of Q2 invalidates. Are we gonna change the trend from here and go lower? Is it possible? Yes. Is it most probable? Wouldn't say so, but still, if you hold some on spot, it's for the hedge. But yeah, that's the only idea I have for Ethereum right now. I'll set my alarm here. If you actually come into that area, it's gonna be a golden opportunity to buy. A lot of people are gonna be super freaked out. They're gonna be talking about this area, 100%. So this is gonna be a golden opportunity to buy if you come inside here. Then you can be targeting that fat 3K. 2.9. Yeah, that's your opportunity right there. Essentially the validation. If you wanna do it on spot, that's gonna be your validation on spot. If you want to do it as a trade, just wait for the reaction if you want to do it with leverage. A little bit off topic question. Do you think halving will continue to be the best time for Bitcoin growth? Now, my opinion about BTC is that actually all these halvings, they're not gonna have impact anymore at all. Why? Because, let me Google it so I can explain it simply. Google. Focus. Okay, there we go. Open image. Yeah, there we go. Now, what I said, I'm gonna repeat myself. The reason why I don't think the halvings are gonna matter anymore. Why? Okay, now here is the math. Block reward, 2009, 50 BTC. Dropping down 25, dropping down 12.5, dropping down to 6.25, and then it's gonna drop down to 3. So you see, it's just getting lower and lower. So the reward is getting lower and lower. So there's not gonna be pursuit anymore. And judging by my high time frame analysis on BTC, we're gonna be sideways for a long period of time, in my opinion, probably until 2025 or 2024. So judging by fundamental information such as that, judging by technical information such as the Elliott wave, which is an advanced way of doing technical analysis, my conclusion is that we're gonna be sideways for a long period of time. But to answer your question precisely, do I think halving will continue to be the best time for Bitcoin growth? Considering it's gonna be 2024, yes, I do consider the best time for growth for BTC is gonna be between 2024 and 2028. I do consider that. But I don't think it's gonna be because of the halving. Maybe it can play a part, but I don't think this is gonna be the big part. Hope this answered your question, mate. And about Ethereum, what I can say is actually if we break above this daily and this weekly, probably yes, you do have this daily level, but there's nothing. Like if you think about it, look at that, between 2.9 and let's say this guy over here, you have nothing. But the thing is, you see you have front run that high, 21.64. You have front run that high, so you have nice liquidity level there. Be aware of that. Moving into ES now, and the important, the beast. This is gonna move things, guys. Yeah, this one got invalidated. About this setup, what actually happened, I got into the first half of the daily, 41.59, we pulled back, and as we were coming right into 41.61, I got out. So it was like a break-even trade, but it's no longer valid, so I'm deleting it. Now about ES, very important. Now look at it from a daily time perspective. It's above all these daily levels. This daily is no longer valid. The weekly candle was super bullish. The monthly candle is very bullish. Actually, we're gonna close super bullish right now, guys. Yeah, that's a bullish closure. And the reason I'm saying this, let me just hide everything. Okay, so what I've been monitoring for a while, candle close to candle close, spread across, monthly range, fixed range, from here to here. So currently, you can see the monthly candle is trying to break above value, okay? So either it is gonna turn out into a super fake out, super fair auction, we're gonna have super wrecked people, we're gonna come back down to 3800, or we're gonna continue higher into 4300. So if you think about it that way, pull a fib this low to the high on a monthly time frame, weekly range. So we have the settings. No information. That's gonna be useful. Anyway, look at it from that standpoint on a monthly time frame. Okay. Is this bullish? Yes or no? Write down in the chat. Is this bullish or yes? I'm more into bearish. Yeah, I'm gonna dive into that because it's important to know, guys. I mean the theory behind that. So now on the high time frame, okay, pull out the fixed range from the overall high, the all-time high. We're currently at the value area high, okay? That's something to be aware of. Now, a lot of people are looking at this, and you know, as soon as we start to break above these highs, you're gonna see lots of people coming along. Be aware of that. Now coming back in, if we zoom in, okay, what I want to show you guys, that's what I'm doing. That's one of my favorite things. You see, we have a nice push to the upside, and then we know we're gonna start at a range. So once you have a defined range, you have a high and you have a low. Bing, bang, spread across. And you just have to trade these two levels. You have level 1 and you have level 2. Trade them. You see, the way this thing works is that we're back in the same place where we initially rejected. So this is gonna act as some kind of resistance. But overall, you see over here the way you trade is, once you come back into that area, stop loss below that low, you target overall high. And same theory. I had a short from over here, had another short from over here. Over here I tried to catch along, but I got stopped out, and then once this happened I was like, fuck it. So I did miss that long from over here. That's I have nothing to hide. I did miss the long. I didn't pay enough attention. I was kind of, because I got stopped out twice here. I have in the Discord there is an Excel spreadsheet. You can see there I lost 2 times the long setup. So after I lose a setup twice, I'm not gonna take it. But I just had to enter again, and then I will be pretty much on break even. But you know, this can happen. I have no regrets, no problem. And patterns are easily manipulated. Yeah, patterns are easily manipulated. I've never used those deviation levels. I have no idea how it works. Yeah, it's used to catch deviations, mate, and it's working very, very well. So these are the levels. If you want, you can screenshot them, you can backtest them. I have backtested them. What I can say is that you have, you know, the initial high, initial low. Once you try to break above and you come into the, let's say this level, you come into it, and then you enter back into the range. You enter a short setup with stop loss above the high, and basically you have 80% probability of coming back down to the 0.5, and you can let the rest run into here. Yeah, simple as that. I would look for a swing failure pattern of the 43 to let's just take a look. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about a high. Yeah. We have a weekly low there. It's a long weighted place, mate, but I know a lot of people are waiting for it. So just be aware of that. I'm trying to, you know, be a little bit more cautious. But if you take a look at it this way, if you actually don't make it there, see this pattern, when you start breaking it, all these people are gonna be super bullish inside this golden pocket. And what can actually happen is that we never make it to that weekly level, we never make a swing failure pattern. So be aware of this. This is a little bit unpopular opinion, but it's a way to wreck the people that are gonna be waiting for that. Because what actually can happen if there's if you a lot of people are waiting for some kind of level, you have two options. Option number one is basically to get them wrecked. Option number two is to never make it there. So be aware of that. But yeah, overall, if you do make it there, you're still gonna be in a heavy resistance. So judging my theory on the high time frame, it does make sense for us to be range bound in the area for a long period of time. This liquidity is taken. We do have the high over here. Their levels. Actually, what I'm gonna do, mark all the high. But yeah, this would be a good setup if we actually made it there. Would you mind looking on the chart? Yeah, bro, like simply say, yeah, I believe for Ethereum, because I gave a little bit more details about Ethereum, just roll back a couple of minutes and we're gonna see my thought process about it. I explained it really like in good detail, so just come back a few minutes and we're gonna see it. But about ES, just check something out quickly. And by the way, for the upcoming month, if we actually come below 4,072, I would say, if you come below this low, I'm pretty confident we're gonna come back into 3,900. But yeah, until then, it does make sense to wait for that area. Now we have talked about Ethereum, we have talked about BTC, we've talked about BTC and DXY. I haven't talked about Nasdaq yet. So let's just take a look quickly. Now about Nasdaq. So about Nasdaq, guys. I'm gonna delete this for now. Now, as I told you, you need to be looking for longs in that area, and whoever has been in the group knew that after this low, we were looking for a long setup, and this is how it played out. Essentially, the long setup was looking like that. So yeah, I would say pretty clean. It's above the weekly. Nasdaq is looking pretty, we're in the top of the range. I wouldn't say it's looking very bullish. I would say we just stopped out a lot of people and cleaned out those highs. But on the weekly time frame, it is looking bullish. I'm gonna delete this for now. We do have a fresh weekly here. It would make sense to come back and back test it. I'm sorry, is he bullish or bearish in short term? Hi mate, I believe it would be best if you wrote down the video at the beginning and I explain in very good details my point of view on BTC, not only for the upcoming days or hours, I would say the next couple weeks, potentially months. So just go and take a look at it. Okay. It does make sense for Nasdaq to continue high. Now if we roll into the 30-minute time frame, let's take a look at something. How many trades per week do you do usually average? I'm gonna post the journal right now. Discord live trades. Just take a look at it, mate. I'm gonna post it right now. Okay, it's in the chat. So yeah, this journal was created for the Discord. Essentially, you can see for a month of 1 week, I have taken, let's say, just for crypto, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 trades just for crypto. If you amount for, let's say, indexes and Forex, it's about 20, 25, 100 trades per month, around that. I'm an active trader, mate. I'm an active trader. I trade multiple assets. I want to get involved into price movements. And you know, I believe as a trader, you want to be looking at multiple things. Like if you're trading on BTC, you're not gonna make the best returns year on year. That's my opinion. If you want to make the best returns year on year, you need to be trading multiple assets. Still, you can use the same strategy. So let's say the things I'm using, they work the same way: BTC, Nasdaq, ES, and a few Forex pairs. So the things that I'm using, they're working the same way. So it doesn't matter for me if I'm trading BTC, if I'm trading ES, same things. And that's the beauty of having the real knowledge, because you see a lot of people are trading Forex in a very, very different way they do crypto. Yes, it's moving in different ways, that's correct. But you need to be using tools that are gonna help you define your edge in the same way they do in different assets. So yeah, that's my opinion about it. Coming back into Nasdaq, we'll have a bit of topic. Yeah, this weekly is gonna be a very, very important place. So if you want to get involved into super high time frame things, you can be looking at that. Okay. Essentially the stop loss you can actually put below that low. So yeah, this is gonna be super important. That's a good setup in my opinion. That's a good setup which I'm looking forward to. Yeah, just trade from weekly to weekly. Weekly to weekly, that's it. Simple as that. This can take probably, let's say, 12-13 days to play out, but we have to see how it goes. Bless you, mate. Thank you, bro. Thank you. But yeah, about ES and Nasdaq, there's no reason to be bullish, judging by the weekly and the monthly time frame, and the daily, we can say. If we actually get this setup, it's gonna be a lucky one. It's gonna be lucky if we get into that. Coming into the Forex arena. I like that. Let me just fix a few things here. Now about Audi USD, coming back into that weekly, tap the liquidity. I'm gonna be looking for rotation on Audi USD. I'm gonna be looking for longs on Audi USD, which means I'm gonna be short and biased, bearish on DXY. But it does make sense. It does make sense. Long story short, moving into the Forex arena, I'm gonna be looking next week for longs on Audi USD. Take a look at the weekly time frame. And bounce. Looking good on the daily time frame. Very nice Friday closure. It is indeed below that volatile low, but what we can be looking at, let's zoom in. Deleting this for now. Yeah, I'm looking for this one now. The USD, I'm gonna set a few alerts here. Europe hitting that high time frame resistance. This daily is no longer valid. This one got back tested. Kinda exhausting. Yeah. I try to go fast through the Forex pairs. If anyone wants me to look at something specific, will do. $111 didn't tap it though. Skyrocketed. Fucking JPY. Little fucker. I'll pass this one next week. We're gonna be looking for shorts on the GPAUD, I believe. Yeah, we're gonna be looking for shorts on GPAUD. I'm gonna wait a little bit on that, but I'm gonna keep it on my watch list. Set one alert about a high. USD, not much to say. USD cats, not much. Anyway, moving into the stocks. Nothing to say about Apple. Nvidia is at a key place, kind of hovering around that monthly in the point control. Tesla started rolling down. I had a short from over here, actually from over here, 2.204, taking profit on it. PayPal, longs, strong longs. Anyway, that's the TA. These are the plans for next week. Anyone got any questions? Now is the time to ask. Dennis, you had a question inside the Discord. Something about the prop forms. Would you like to ask this now? If you want, just type it down in the chat, mate, and we're gonna discuss it. Can you please take a look at Apple? Yeah, about Apple, it's like, I have mixed feelings about Apple, mate, and the reason why, let's say this short from over here from this monthly, I had a short from 174, whoever was in contact with me back then, he knew. And this was back when FTX was still operating and I had the short back on FTX. And it's funny though, because as we were falling down, I remember that I closed it at like 145, and then at 125, I didn't pay attention, like I had the level, but I didn't pay attention to buy over here. So since then, I have no involvement into any Apple moves. But what I can say right now, you're kind of mimicking this price action. But overall, to put it in a simple matter, you don't have any bearish market structure. Do you have any exhaustion? Yes, you do have some kind of exhaustion. I would say once you break structure, and what I mean by that, simply move into the 4 time frame. If you start changing this market structure, if you start changing this, you don't need to get on top. If you want to short Apple, the way you want to do it is, let's say it changes the market structure, come below this low, and then you want to be shorting the retest. Okay, that's the way you want to get involved. This is not the place you want to be longing. Like for $5, it doesn't make sense for me. Like that's 3%. Doesn't make sense for me to get involved in long here, especially. Just be patient and wait. If you take a look at it from a monthly perspective, and also what we can argue is that high, low, lower high, actually sorry, high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. What if this is a lower high and we make a lower low and we actually come into the 120 area, which we have liquidity on monthly? What if this happens? So think about it. From a weekly standpoint, that's not a bearish candle. So as I said, if you want to get involved into a short setup, which is the better thing to do right now, wait for a change of market structure. You don't need to be a hero to catch the top of the move. You need to get in the highest probability setup, and it's gonna come once you change the market structure. Until then, patient. My question was about an efficient way to absolute obliterate the challenges. I know that sometimes it can happen that the month is not the one and you can't do anything, but talking in general. So if you're talking about, let's say, the prop firm challenges, I believe if you want to trade them like you trade daily, man, like you don't need to be as Dimo says, mate, you can save some money for a big account, 100k plus, risk as little as 25% on each trade, take the steps that you choose, and that's the best way in my opinion. Yeah, absolutely. If you, you know, the way I'm trading, I have playbook strategies, let's say 10 or 8, 7, 8. I'm trading them. I don't fuck around. I don't do things I don't understand. And the way you want to extrapolate and extract money from the market is you want to have specific things you know that work and just trade basing on them. You want to know your strengths, mate. So as I told you, you need to get the data about yourself, and then you can jump on challenges. Once you have data and you have an understanding of what things you can do well, just multiply them on a challenge, mate. And let's say you have a setup that has 80% probability, you can go into a challenge and basically risk 1% per trade. And if it's a very high probable setup, probably it's gonna occur maybe twice a week. So you can consistently make, let's say, between 2 and 4% a week. If you make 2% per week, you're outperforming 90% of people in the market. And that's what I can say. If you make consistently 2% per week, you're fucking killing it, buff. The main idea in trading is, let's say from a performance standpoint, you're in the top 1% if you make 40 to 60% per year. Which, if you think about it, is like it's like 4% a month. Yeah, but the 80% setup, it's not gonna. It's setup that occurs maybe like between 2 and 6 times a month. 2 and 6 times a month, bro. Yeah, you can use it, but you don't want. This is not the thing you want to put most pressure on. Okay, 80% setup is super simple. Super simple. I can give this setup to a child of 7 years of age, and he can play it. It's really that simple. You want to find the setups that occur more oftenly, really. And even if you take a challenge, take ones. First, research the profile because they have different ones. Sorry, I said something that I was not supposed to say. I wanted to say research the prop firms because they have different spreads. So let's say you want to trade crypto. One thing that I did, which was kind of stupid, when I was getting into the prop firms, I started into my Forex funds, and I bought a 200k account, and basically the spread for BTC is like $40, mate. And this was back when BTC was around this area, 18k. So having a $40 spread on an 80k BTC is killing, man. Like right now probably it's like 60 on this prop firm. And the reason I failed the challenge, I'm not taking unaccountability, I'm actually very accountable for the challenge, but one of the reasons I did fail it because I didn't do my research. And when you have a time limit and you being pressured into doing more things that you don't want to do usually, my advice is research the prop firms and just do your research, mate. And if you don't want time limit and you want good spread, I would recommend you my funded FX. And I heard good things about true Forex funds as well, that they have tight spreads on BTC, so. Yeah. 80% setup occurs like 3-4 times a month, and I'm looking for something that is 3-4 times per week. And actively, you know, just do more backtesting, mate. Do more backtesting. I'm sure you're gonna find whatever you're looking for. Yeah, you can't rely on it. You just can't. Okay, guys. Anyone got any other question? Now is the time to ask. Can we look at Tesla? Yeah, about Tesla, man, like on the high time frames, that's my perspective, coming back down into the $70 region. You know, while we are below $226, that's my main target. I did have a short from 205. I have closed 50% of it right now. I'm gonna keep it like this for now. I don't know what's gonna happen next. Is this count gonna get invalidated, and are we gonna just like come back above this order block, which is huge in my opinion? If we come above 220, 230, then yeah, most likely this scenario is invalidated. But until then, on the higher time frames, that's my outlook on Tesla, man. Yeah, from over here it can, like if you think about it, in the next 10-20 years this can jump into, let's say, 1,000. I'm talking about a very, very high time frame. I'm talking about the next 15 years. This can jump from 70 to 1,000. What are the market makers wanting to do this coming week? On which asset, mate? Which asset? Stream was great, keep it up. Thoughts on USD CAD? USD CAD, bro, it's no man's land in my opinion right now. I went into it and looked into it. Like the way I trade USD CAD is on the outer boundaries. So what I mean by that, I was looking for shorts at 1,383 and I was looking for longs at 1,333. So right now it's kind of rejecting this point of control and probably it's gonna come back down into 1,343. But yeah, my overall thought process is that we're gonna come back a little bit lower, probably like 0.7, 0.8%. And then from there we can think about what's gonna happen next. Is it probable that we just backtest this value very low, maybe like this week's over here, and then we just move higher? I don't know. We gotta see. My bias for the next coming days that this moves lower. But still, I'm not gonna take a trade here. This is literally no man's land in my opinion. This is a place where I'm not gonna take any trade. I prefer to stay away. Yeah, and you can see the gold pocket is coming down as well. Now set one alert over here, and yeah, I'm gonna look for a long setup in that area. Like trading the range. ES and BTC, they've been covered, guys. Like, just go back and just find where I was talking about ES and BTC. I've been streaming for about an hour and 40 minutes, so I don't have the intention to repeating myself, so please just go back and watch the explanations about them. Any other question, guys? I'm good, man. How many strategies should a trader have? Might be a master into for max good range. It depends, bro. Like, I would say anything between the range of 2 and 8 is good. Yeah, anything between that range, 2 and 8. Thanks a lot for the information. Thank you very much for watching this, guys. I appreciate a subscribe, a like, and if you can share this like on Twitter and we can just build the algorithm together, I'll be super grateful. But closing thoughts, if you have any questions about these assets, I believe I have explained everything in depth and I've given my personal opinion about these assets. If you have any question related to them, just go back, I believe you'll find it. Coming into next week, be careful because there's gonna be a lot of volatility. Let me just show you the events quickly. Yeah, I'm volatile week. Wednesday is gonna be wild. My thoughts about, let's say, the Fed's funds rate, I believe they're gonna be accurate. I believe it's already like priced in, so we're gonna see how it goes. I don't think they'll be surprised. That's my personal opinion. Yeah, basically that's it, guys. Thank you very much again for the attention. I wish you guys wisdom, wellness, and be grateful for anything you have. Take care now.